Hello people, I am Sky Demolisher and welcome back for another From the Collection Fridays, a series where I take things from my collection and show it to you, my viewers. And this week it is my Transformers animated Jazz. I believe this is the second Jazz that I've shown here, so I probably don't need to say that Jazz is my favourite Transformer. But if you didn't know, now you do know, and Jazz is my favourite Transformer. So, if you're ever wondering what to get me as a Transformer, well, there's always Jazz. I love Jazz. So, now that I've successfully probably creeped you out with my love of Jazz, and not the music, although there's nothing wrong with Jazz music either, long pause for effect. There is nothing wrong with Jazz music. As you can see in one of his hands there is a weapon. You do get two of them. I will show you where the other one is in a second. Excuse the pronunciation, but I believe they are called nunchaku, or nunchucks. The exact same weapon that Michelangelo uses in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is not a turtle, this is a Transformer. Which you probably already know. But if you didn't know, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Anyway, so it probably doesn't show up very well because it's white, but there is actually a string that holds those together, so, you know, like there is actually dangly parts. And if I turn him, just as you see on this other arm, that there is the actual other set. You get two, so one for each arm, and as I turn him back around, you'll see here that there is a slot. That is how they slot in. So Transformers Animated was actually really good at hiding its weapons within the vehicles, or in such a way that it looked natural, unlike other Transformer series. So his front looks brilliant, his back is actually very well covered, as you can see, with the bonnet and the windshield. There is a bit of hollowness through the lower legs, but that's not really bad. I don't think that it really detracts from the figure that badly, and like most of the figures from Animated, he's not actually that hard to transform. He's pretty easy. It's been a long time since I last did it though, so it might be a little difficult. Now that there, if I zoom in, and hopefully it goes a bit clear. No, yeah, there. You can see that there is clear green plastic in his headlights. There is also clear green plastic for his eyes. Camera being rude. Green plastic in its eyes. There we go, translucence there. There is actually a light piping gimmick, so the light that comes through here will help light up the eyes. I don't have a small light on me to push in there to really show it off. But it was sort of like, I think the first time this was used as a gimmick was in the G1.5 line with the Turbo Masters and the Predator jets. At least that's the first time I remember them being used. So, amusingly, as a technology sort of thing, it has continued to be used until present day, in the place of actually having like electronics or something, which I think is actually quite a smart thing. Anyway, we'll carry on. Articulation wise, he does have a bend at the knee, and there is a swivel. Alright, if I zoom back out and try that again, there we go. There's a bend at the knee, there is a swivel, It is a full 360 variety, so that's actually really good. Proper bend sort of thing. Of course, this panel that goes in the back of the car is sort of, gets in the way in a way, but only when you're sort of pushing it forward. The feet are just a flip out thing. They're not really problematic at all. They line up with the back panels here, so that it gives you the proper support, and of course it's nicely detailed on the inside bit there. There is waist bend, so you can do them in the splits if you really want to, pretty much like the original Metroplex had. There is a swivel at the waist, so his top half can actually be turned different ways if you require it. There is actually a double joint at the elbow, so it sort of helps just articulate it in a different way if you need it. There is no swivel in the actual elbow, but there is up here near the top of the bicep, and then of course it's a ball joint at the shoulder, limited of course by this panel which clicks in, and like recent figures, if his limbs pull off, most of them are just pressed straight back in, sort of thing. Now, here comes the difficult part. Now, I haven't transformed him in a long time, but I don't think his transformation was that difficult. Yeah. Basically, the arms fold up. Take out the weapons first, and you might have to be careful there because of the string bit. You can actually end up pulling both sides through. So when you go to release him, he will actually pull it through his hand to the other side. So hands just need to be sort of bent in. And then they go into his chest cavity there. And I'm sure this is right. Yeah. His arms will fold over so that they've got the wheel arch there. And it virtually just, it slots into place. You might need to fiddle it just a little bit. Now the feet tuck inside the car mode, if I remember rightly. Probably one of the difficult parts is actually to get this bit here through to his back. So you just pop the legs together like that, and then, yeah, there we go. You just sort of need to get them in behind the windscreen there. Just click in place, push those down at the back, and then you take your little nunchucks on that side and you slide them in here. Now, of course, I haven't got all the panels lined up proper, so if I just press them into place there, and then I put them back down, and I will zoom in again, and that is Jazz as a sports car. So, very, very well detailed car. Looks exactly like he does in the cartoon. And when you pull him up, you can see his robot mode hidden underneath there. See his little hands squished in and stuff. So he actually does convert quite well to his vehicle mode and back into his robot mode. It doesn't take long. It's been a long time since the series came out, so I don't know if you'll really be able to find one of these figures now. But I do think he is one of the coolest Jazzes that was released. He's certainly a solid feeling figure, which is one of the things I enjoy about him. I believe I reviewed was it Titans Return one at an earlier date, and you could see that that was very hollow, whereas this figure isn't really hollow, he's well built, and that's why he's one of my preferred figures. And also because he actually looks like he's come straight out of the cartoon. They did a great job on the paint apps and all that. Of course, like the majority of him is white, so there's probably not really a lot there, but the racing stripe on the hood, all of that was important to like the original Jazz's character. And in some ways this is kind of like a stunted version of the Tim Burton Batmobile. Like, this rear end very much has that same sort of flared look. If you just extended the nose out further, it would actually look exactly like that Batmobile. Which is another thing that I enjoy about this particular figure. But I'll leave it there. You don't want to hear me rambling on about my love of particular Transformers. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.